Tuesday the 18th of June, and here I am at Hollesley at a wonderful campsite called Run Cottage, and it's an absolutely fabulous site. It's probably one of the very best that I've been on this whole journey around Britain, and the proprietors, Andy and Michelle, you couldn't wish to meet friendlier people. They're so obliging, they are so friendly, it's absolutely wonderful. It's not like one of these regimented kind of campsites that you can find yourself on at times, and it's a very clean and tidy place, absolutely wonderful facilities. There's some shops and pubs and stuff like that just nearby, and it's been brilliant to be here. And I'm going to be here for another couple of days at least, and possibly more, and that is subject to the weather. At the moment the sun is shining, but there's a bit of cloud moving in, and it's going to be a reasonable day today. But tomorrow we've got thunderstorms, heavy rain all day, so I won't be doing anything, which is quite timely actually, because yesterday, and I'm going to show yesterday's film when I've just talked about this. I've thought long and hard about how to do this actually, but so much has happened in the last sort of 24 hours, and there's so much going on. Plus the fact that I've got lots and lots of new viewers, which I'm really appreciative of, who probably wonder at times what's going on, and this might help to kind of explain the way things are, and recent things that have happened, and the fact that I've now got out of Essex as well has made me feel so much better. And on that point, I hope I didn't upset anyone from Essex. I mean, I've got to say, Essex is just another county like every other county, and the people from Essex are particularly friendly people. I thoroughly enjoyed them, meeting lots of really nice people, and I've got friends, especially in Bulgaria. There's a few people who are expats from Essex, and I don't want to offend anybody, and my criticism was nothing to do with Essex or its people. It was just to do that it didn't have a coastal path, and it made it very difficult. And if I was going to slag anything relating to Essex, it's probably the drivers ought to learn to slow down a bit and pay a bit more respect to walkers such as me, because there isn't a designated coastal path. You've got to make it up as you go along, and while these people would slow down for cyclists or a horse and cart or something, they just don't seem to think that pedestrians have a right to be on the road. That's the feeling I get from some of these people who come close to you as a way of saying, get out of my way, and I'm serious about that. It was dangerous, but that's over with now. I've lived through it, and I'm in a new county of Suffolk where there is a coastal path, a designated coastal path, and so I'm looking forward to making progress, even though I'm going to have to slow down a bit, because I woke up with a groin strain yesterday, which was, I don't know where it came from. The only place I can detect it came from was when I crossed on the ferry from Harwich to Felixstowe. It was a very bumpy ride, and I was standing up most of the time filming, because to be so that I could kind of manoeuvre, so I could get as steady a shot as possible, which is almost impossible. And I got thrown about once or twice, you know, especially when we passed the Stena vessel that was zooming across our path and everything, and the skipper had to do some clever manoeuvring so that we didn't get caught in the swell, and there was a really rocky time, and I think it could have been then. I've had a couple of groin strains before on this walk, and they've only usually last a couple of days, and I've taken painkillers and everything. But yesterday I was up early, and Peter was coming over from Bury St Edmunds to walk for me again, and I had a decision to make around about sort of 7:30, thinking, well, should I ring Peter and say, look Peter, I can't make it, or should I take some painkillers and see how I go on, which is what I did choose to do. And Peter arrived earlier than he, you know, I told him to come any time he likes, and he arrived a little bit earlier because the traffic was good. And so I took a bit of a gamble, got one of my walking poles and used that as support, and I needed it. I was in pain most of the day, but the original plan was only to walk around about 4 or 5 miles anyway, so I thought, well, I'll give it a go. And but as the day wore on, I got further and further into pain, but did the walk. Today it feels much better. I had a very sleepless night the night before. I couldn't hardly get out of bed. It was so painful. This morning I'm fine. Still a little bit, and I'll still take some more painkillers as the day progresses, but I should have the benefit of 2 full days rest, and that's my intention. I've started the edit, but I've decided to do this little part as a kind of a precursor to tell you what is going on, because there's several things that I want to talk about, but I won't go on too long, I promise. So, first of all, Ralph was going to come over today actually, but I got a phone call from him on Sunday to say that his mother is dangerously ill. She's an elderly lady, and things are not looking good to the extent where the family has gathered. So what I've done is just said to Ralph, well, please don't worry about it, there will be other opportunities to come. And I've also got my friend Ray Young from Ellesmere Port, and I'm going to be speaking with him today, and hoping to make an arrangement for him to come over. He's keen to come and walk, and I'm looking forward to that, but that's the only loose end I've got at the moment, where the next couple of days will sort that out. So obviously, because I'm not going to be walking, I'm not going to be making any more videos until at least Thursday. And so I thought I'd make it a little bit of a longer one this morning, as I say, mainly for the benefit of the people who are just kind of getting used to me and what's going on, how the system works. And so that's my plan. And so this could be, I don't know how long this video is going to be. This is the very beginning of it, but it could be around about an hour, which is almost like a special, if you understand. We've got a list here which I might need to keep referring to. There's 1 or 2 people that I really need to mention in a big way, and the first one is my friend Bry, who's famous for the ramblings of Brian, who's an absolutely wonderful bloke, and we seem to have struck up a kind of a friendship. He was only talking, I was watching him last night, he was talking about friendships and what people need and how different people are. Well, yeah, we're different, and we're on different agendas, we're doing different things in our lives, but I seem to have struck up a very nice friendship. I'll call it a friendship, because we are having some lovely communications between each other. And Bry, completely unsolicited, there was no discussion or anything, decided to make a little short video which he put out to all 4,000 of his followers, saying this guy Jim, he's on this walk around the country and he needs to get to 1,000 subscribers. And since then, I've got some figures here, I said that I needed 345 subscribers to get to 1,000, and now the figure's gone down by 63. That's in 3 days, which is wonderful. So it's now my subscription is now up to 708, which now means I need 292. So that's a nice kind of figure, and I'm quite sure that Bry will probably, hopefully, encourage people more subscribers to subscribe to my channel. An absolutely wonderful gesture. But on top of that, in terms of fundraising, and this is an issue that I'll be talking about with the cancer research people today, because I've been in a long conversation with them, and we're planning ahead for when I get back to Grimsby to try and make a big event of it, so that will raise a lot more money. Because Bry rightly said that I've only raised about 600 quid, which isn't much really, even though I've got a target of of raising £20,000 by the time I've walked around Scotland, which I think is a far more realistic figure. But getting all these wheels and cogs into motion so that we're in sync with each other and everything is very difficult. And the reason for that is because I'm walking most of the time. I can't take phone calls about complicated issues, and I also need to know how to organise my computer, my laptop, and how we're going to do this. I did get the QR code through, but what I need to do now is give you a link, and I'm working on that today, so that if you want to send some money directly to the cancer research, it'll just be a simple link which you can add to, and that's what I'm working on today, as well as finishing off the edit of yesterday's walk, which will be coming up after this little ramble, if you understand what I mean. No offence, Bri. So Bri is a very accomplished artist, as I'm sure many of you will already know who watch his site, and he always has an auction of a picture on the 20th of the month, which is the day after tomorrow, and he's going to put one of his pictures up for auction and send the proceeds to the cancer research people, particularly the Brain Foundation, and that's absolutely wonderful, Brian. What a fantastic gesture. Brilliant. Thank you very much indeed. The other person that I want to mention is Peter. That's Peter Jones, the guy he was with me on Saturday when I walked from Walton-on-the-Naze to Harwich, and we had a lovely day, and he was walking with me yesterday, and because of obviously the situation with my groin, I wasn't at my best at all, and so we did what we had to do. We went and had a lovely breakfast, and we had a walk into Felixstowe, and we met one of his friends who is the manager of this wonderful old hotel right in the centre of Felixstowe, and we got a look around that, and it was absolutely fabulous, and I'm quite sure it's the kind of thing that Richard Vobes might be interested in, this wonderful fantastic building right in the middle of Felixstowe. And so if Richard's watching, I'm quite sure that you'd be interested in it. But Peter, lovely guy, we've got on like a house on fire. It's like as if we've known each other for years and years and years. Delightful bloke, very articulate, very it's probably a bit more serious than me, but he knows his stuff, and we have a good laugh and we've a good banter, and it's another situation where I'm so pleased that on this walk I've met someone of Peter's quality, and terrific, absolutely terrific, and it makes me feel good, and I'm really, really happy about that. So I think I've covered everything really, other than to say welcome to all of the new people who are coming on board quite rapidly, and I've had some wonderful messages from you people when you've joined me on YouTube, and it's been wonderful. It's increased my workload in replying to you all, and I just kind of get up to date, and then the whole new wave of activity means I've got to start again on YouTube and Facebook. But I do like writing to you people, and it makes me feel as if we're all one big happy family, and it's a very nice feeling to be so supported by you people. And the kind of comments that I get, and I get some lovely compliments, thank you very much, and I get some good advice, and it's just lovely to feel that, you know, I'm doing well. Just one quick word about Trish, if I may, and that is that I spoke to her at length last night, and she's fine. She's had some big problems in her head to sort out, as we both have, and she's fine. She went into a bit of a lull because she was quite depressed about thinking about the future, and it's quite a serious issue. And but I think she's coming through it a little bit now, and thinking quite a lot more positive. And so it was lovely to speak to Trish, and she sends her regards, and she also says that for the people in Grimsby when I arrived back there on July the 14th. She would like to be there, but she doesn't really want to be in the limelight, if you understand what I mean, in terms of there's people, sending money, and she feels awful that she doesn't really, she's a bit camera shy in this kind of situation. She's only 4 or 5 weeks through this operation. She's still not looking quite right in her appearance. She's sounding much, much better, and I'm delighted to hear that. And say we had a very nice conversation, and I will be seeing her around, well, obviously on July the 14th, and then I won't be staying long, and I'll be off up to Scotland to walk to John O'Groats. So she wants me to do that. I'm never going to be a million miles away, obviously, and yeah, I'll be on a standby as always. But she just wants me to get on with this, and I've got her full support. So, here's the film from yesterday, from the 17th of June. And so, I'll say it. So, here we go. So Peter's arrived, and you're a little bit early, Peter. What was the traffic like this morning?
Traffic was brilliant, Jim. The A14 was open, so all was well with the world, and we cruised along, and it was like, yesterday's for me, because we've been to this lovely site twice.
Yes.
And it's probably one of our favourite sites we've been to outside of Caravan and Motorhome Club and Camping and Caravan Club. It really is a lovely private site. I think you would agree on that.
I totally agree. It's absolutely wonderful site, and I've booked on for another couple of days actually, because I've got this damn groin strain a bit now. I'll probably sort of walk it off a bit during the day. It's happened to me before, and I don't know where it comes from. But we're going to have a nice easy day today.
We're going to have
some breakfast, shall we?
We may have a minor cure for it. That's the bacon, sausage, eggs, tomatoes. And,
well, I feel better already now you've said that. Yeah, well, and we can finish off with a beer and a pub meal or something.
Well, I'm sure we can, yeah. So I've got an idea about that now as well.
I mean, we're only going to do what we said we was going to do anyway, so it's not really going to affect things that much. It wasn't as if I was doing a 10-miler today or anything like that.
No, not at all, no.
And obviously this situation with Ralph not coming, it's changed things, and so I need to just completely look at it all again.
Absolutely.
And I'll have a day off tomorrow, a full day off, in a lovely place like this, and just regroup,
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, so...
Okay, caravan coming out, Jim, just watching...
Caravans and stuff as well.
I actually do fancy one of those. It's an elegant, I think it's a Swift Elegance, that.
Yes.
We've been inside one, it's just a bit heavy.
Yeah. I saw a van go out a minute ago, towing a little car behind, which is what I've got in mind for doing for Scotland.
You have,
on one of these A-frames, It was only it's only a little Fiat or something like that.
And that would solve the problem, wouldn't it?
Yeah, well, my mate's got an A-frame. He says you can have it, and all I need to do is spend maybe a couple of grand on a little car, because I'll only be using it for the summer, and then I'll sell it again. I've got no interest in keeping it.
There's that one made in India that's got like a motorbike engine in it. Do you know the one I mean?
Oh, really?
Very, very cheap.
Oh, right.
But that might do the job, which would be a lot cheaper than 2,000, I think.
Well,
I
mean, it doesn't matter what it costs. No. I'll get my money back pretty well straight away. I won't get all of it back, but I'll get most of it back.
Right.
But I think the idea of walking Scotland, not so much eastern Scotland will be okay, going up the east coast, but once you get round that top corner,
there's
going to be very, very few bus services and stuff like that, and having a car in tow will just solve all of my logistic problems. And the most important thing, as I've said this before, is I can't use my bus pass in Scotland.
No.
So from a cost point of view, this will pay for itself.
When were you thinking of maybe you'll be buying that, Jim? When do you think? What time?
Well, my intention is to when I've got to Grimsby, I'm going to have a few days off, and then I'm going off up to John O'Groats. And so I'm going to get as near as I can before the winter sets in, and then I'll have a long winter break, and then I'll start again from Gretna Green and walk up the west coast, and so the walk will actually finish at John O'Groats, and there'll be a big party, so I'd expect you to come to John O'Groats.
Absolutely, yeah.
Seriously, I think of all the ways I've thought it out, I think that's going to be by far the easiest, and it'll give me my own autonomy, and you know, I can plan the routes perfectly and all the rest of it, and a little car will do that job.
Well, you just bear in mind that I'm involved in the motor trade in a minor way, so maybe I could, but the timing's obviously going to be right for you.
Yeah.
Too early to be looking round right now. But,
well, same here. You know, that's the plan, and I've got plenty of time to make it work.
Okay.
Shall we go and have some
I think it's time
black
time
pudding sandwiches?
to go.
Yeah. So, what's the plan then? What have you got in mind then today, Peter? We're setting off now.
Well, what we're going to do is we're going to head down to Bordsey. Just beyond Bordsey is the River Deben.
Yes. And
that will cross over to what I'm going to call Old Felixstowe. It isn't actually Old Felixstowe, but I'm going to call it Old Felixstowe.
Yes.
We'll get the ferry across, and I think, as I mentioned to you, there's the skipper on this open boat, and the second mate's a dog. I've forgotten what her name is.
Right.
But she looks after the passengers.
Yes.
On the short trip across, I think it's about £6. Which sounds a lot, but you get a free return.
Right.
There is a trick. You don't get a ticket. He just recognises your face when you come back.
Really?
So,
wow.
So we have to be careful. We are back before the last one goes.
And what time's that?
Don't know. I think we'll inquire, but I think somewhere around 5 o'clock. I think possibly 6.
No, we'll be back. I'm sure that I mean, what time is it now?
Right. So when we cross, there are facilities for those who need to go on the left, if you understand me by facilities, and opposite the facilities is a cafe which is quite famous.
Yes.
It gets very, very busy, you can imagine, at weekends.
Yes.
And they do an excellent breakfast.
Good.
And, or you can have fish and chips there, but I think it's the breakfast this morning.
Lovely.
You haven't walked far, maybe 100 yards if that.
Yeah.
Nice sunny daylight today. It'll be very pleasant down there.
Yeah.
No traffic noise.
Yeah.
Because both roads are a dead end. The one we're going
that's right.
is a dead end, and the other side's a dead end. So.
Look at this.
Yeah.
Blimey, that's a squeeze, isn't it? Look at that. You couldn't get any much further off the road. I met one of these coming at me yesterday, and he was going like a train. You know. I got out of his way, but he was going far too quickly. Look, it's just the silage, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right.
Just let this guy go.
Yeah.
He's going in the fields. Is he? No, he's not going in the fields.
He's going up there. Yes. Oh well, that's solved.
We're okay.
fantastic, isn't it?
Isn't it just? Yeah.
Well, I just want to say thank you very much indeed for a wonderful meal, and it's the first time I've been here in my life, and it's been a lovely experience. And my friend said I'm going to take you for the best breakfast you've ever had, and he was right. And your name, sorry?
Thank you, it's Claire.
Sorry?
Claire.
Claire. Thank you very much, Claire.
No, you're
lovely
welcome.
place.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
So, I mean, this is a beautiful part of the world, isn't it, Peter?
It certainly is, Jim. It's one of my favourite areas around here. I really like to come here from home. It's not that far from home. We can do it in under an hour.
Yes.
Which is, or just over an hour to be precise. But yeah, really good.
Yeah. And this river, what was it called again?
The River Deben, and this will flow right up to Woodbridge.
Oh, really?
And you can get a pleasure boat trip from further up the river for about an hour.
Yes.
Comes down here to just behind you where the river finishes and flows into the North Sea. But
excellent.
Really nice.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jim.
Frank is a very good friend of Peter, and they know each other from years ago, and they used to work together and everything, and he just happens to be the manager here. And it's a fantastic building. Can you tell me something about it?
Yeah, certainly. It was opened in 1903 as a hotel. It was privately owned at that time. I think they started building it in 1899. It remained in private hands until about 1920, early 20s, when it was taken over by the railways, and it became their flagship hotel on the East Coast. So all the Great Eastern Railway memorabilia and posters you see, they nearly all had this hotel in silhouette or in its full form on the posters. It was a hotel right up until the 50s. It was sold in 1950 or 52, I believe, to the agrochemical company Fison's. Became their headquarters.
Oh, really?
It then was taken out of commission in the mid-80s, and it was sold to a private developer who converted it to apartments, and it's now 60 apartments, Grade 2 listed.
Yes.
And as you can see, it's a magnificent building.
Yes.
But has a constant renovation project. It's constant maintenance.
So what's this then, Nick? This is obviously the bell.
This is the bell which hung in the bell tower on the south face of the building.
Yes.
It didn't chime the hours. A lot of people think that it would have kept everyone awake, chiming all night, but that wasn't the case. It was only rung when it was meal times, to let everyone know it was meal times, because this building was surrounded by croquet lawns, tennis courts, things like that. I think we had about 30 tennis courts and all the land around, and about 4 or 5 croquet lawns. So this would just strike when it was meal times to tell people to come and have their dinner. And as you see, as I said to you, the Balmoral Hotel on here was what it was going to be called.
Yes.
But because Queen Victoria died before it was opened, they changed the name to the Felix Hotel.
Yes.
But the bell had already been cast. It was too late.
Yeah.
We've had to take it down because of the weight on the old timbers. They were causing structural issues.
Yes.
So it's been taken down.
Yes.
We did seek some advice on whether to get this repolished so it was nice, as you would see a brass bell out of the foundry, and we're advised not to do that. So it's here at the moment in the Palm Court, waiting to be mounted, so it's in the foyer. So when people come in, they can see it. It'll be one of the first things they see when they come into the building.
Right. Well, Peter, that was our plan to walk to Felixstowe, which we did, and I know it was a little bit of a struggle for me, but it was still nevertheless a very nice walk. I don't know where this groin strain came from, but I've taken some painkillers, and it's not too bad. But thank you for introducing me to your mate. Mick was a lovely guy, and it was quite interesting to walk all that way to see something like that, exclusive to us, really. I don't think there's many people who've actually seen that.
No, it really was something, wasn't it?
Yeah, really amazing. And so the temperature in here is phenomenal now, isn't it? It's really, really warm. It's
amazing.
And so now, what's the plan then? What do you fancy?
I think we'll have a trip to Albury and see what's what. You know, we'll have maybe one drink in Albury, at minimum, and we might decide to have fish and chips there, or maybe stop at a pub on the way back, or whatever.
All right.
But if you're happy to, we'll have a quiet drive over to Albury.
Yeah.
Last time I was here, I stopped outside a house where they were selling homemade marmalade, and I bought the entire stock, and it's absolutely delicious. Really
let's go and see if we can get some more marmalade.
Yeah, we'll have to do that.
And I'm quite certain, if as you say, it's so famous for its fish and chips, I'm sure there's going to be a fish shop open where we can just get it wrapped in newspaper and sit on the beach and eat it, sort of thing.
Well,
you know, I'm not bothered about having a pint with fish and chips particularly. I don't think they go very well together.
No, okay.
But you know, I'd rather separate them if we can. And eating fish and chips out of paper is what I've been doing since I was born. You know, in Hull, and it's a really well-known thing. And to me, it tastes so much better. You know, when it's got loads of salt and vinegar on and it's wrapped up, and you're not eating it off a plate, and you're not eating it with a knife and fork. You just get your fingers in there, and I think that's the way I like to eat.
Well, your voice is not quite right, but you just sound like my wife. You know, loads of salt and vinegar. That's the only way she'll eat fish and chips, and she will be watching this.
Well, your missus has gone up in my estimation, mate. I mean, for all the bad things you've said about her, she sounds to me as if she's gorgeous, and if she eats fish and chips out of the paper, you've got a good one, mate.
Unbelievable. Well, she said they don't taste the same on a plate. They've got to be on.
Yeah, it's true.
Unfortunately, I think we've done this before. We've gone to Albury and we've had to hang around till 6 o'clock for it to open. But
let's have a look.
We'll have a go.
What's the time now?
On the sat navs, it's 3:10 coming.
3:10, and it's red hot. It's incredible, isn't it?
It is.
All right.
We have a sat nav working.
Smashing. Well, we'll come always use mine.
It's on. It's working.
All right, mate. Lovely.
Here we go.
Thank you.
That's it. 80 miles.
80 miles to Albury.
That's right. Do you know why?
It's more like about 10, I would say.
It's the wrong Albury. That's why.
Yeah. I was going to say that. There is an Albury in Yorkshire, just north of Withensea.
This is somewhere around Norwich.
It's spelt completely different though.
Yeah. How do we spell this?
This is ALDEBURGH.
It's Oldberg, isn't it?
It's Oldberg.
Yeah.
That's it. If you put Albury without the E, and then it is going to be 80 miles. Is that all?
That's to Norwich. 22.2. How's that?
Yeah, that's more like it.
But we'll be there in 50 minutes. Some 56 minutes is saying. Probably do better quicker than that. Do you want to stop at this museum or not, Jim? Are you going to give
not
it
really. If I'm to be honest,
no.
Let's go and have a beer and some fish and chips.
All right. Okay.
Is that all right?
Yeah, we're fine.
Cheers, mate. That's lovely. So here I am in Albury in Suffolk, and this is Adnams, and there's two very delightful young ladies here who have been trying to talk me into trying some different kinds of lacer. Now, Melissa, tell me about all of this situation. I can see your Adnams name everywhere. What exactly is Adnams then?
Okay, well, Adnams is a family-run business, and it's been started off just brewing beer, and it's up in Southwold, based in Southwold, where we have a brewery. Now we have a distillery. That started about 10, 11 years ago, the distillery.
Yes.
And you can go and have tours around the brewery and around the distillery. It's really interesting.
Yes.
And as I said, it's all locally sourced. All the grain is locally sourced. We make all the vodkas that make the gins, and all the beers as well as all local sourced wheat and things. So
Excellent.
it's a local, very local business.
Yes. And is it going well?
Yeah, it's been. I mean, it's probably been going. I should know how long, but probably 100 years or something.
Really?
Yes. So it's a nice, very nice company.
Yes. I can see. I mean, all the bottles and everything all look very attractive and colourful,
Yes.
which is a very good sort of modern trend, isn't it? But in terms of, I mean, say I'm a lager drinker. I told you I used to live abroad, and I got used to drinking lager instead of beer, even though it was like Bulgarian lager, which is a similar kind of thing. But I mean, what about the price? Is it pricey?
It's a bit more than, yeah. So the gins started around $26.99.
Yes.
And so that's I think your Gordon's is probably more like a sort of 18 or something. So
Yes.
it's a bit more expensive. But as I say, it's all made locally, and the bottles, everything's designed beautifully.
Yeah, it is
so
indeed.
it's a lovely gift,
Very
even if it's
eye-catching.
not for you.
Yes.
And so I think that it's very well designed, and it's a little expensive, but it's a special treat.
Well, it's like anything, you get what you pay for, though, don't you?
You do.
And that's, I always believe in that. It's the ferro-liquid syndrome, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I
Yeah.
couldn't agree more. And also, everything is here to taste. All the spirits are here to taste. So you can always come in, try something, and then if you like it, buy a bottle, or just have the experience.
Yes, absolutely. Well, thank you for your time, and I'm very pleased that my friend Peter here brought me in here. I'm always interested in unusual things, and this is lovely. And I'm going to be back here again, so I'll come and see you again.
Oh, do.
I'm going to be walking through within the next week. So,
good. Well, come back and see us.
Yes, I will. I'll
And
call in.
good luck with the rest of your walk.
Thank you, and have a look at the blog and send me a message.
I will.
That'd be
I
very
will.
nice.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye. It seems to be quite a nice place, this Albury, doesn't it?
Very nice, Jim. Very nice.
Have you been here many times before?
I have many times here, yeah. We really like it. We always tend to come in the summer. Sometimes we meet friends here, other times we're on our own, but we never fail to enjoy. Fish and chips are very famous here.
Yes.
And of course, you're not very far from Adnam's Brewery, which
Right.
lots of people love the beer.
Yes.
And it's a great little pub, isn't it, as well?
Yes, absolutely. It's got a nice kind of ambience about it.
It has.
And there isn't traffic rushing up and down. It's very
not.
slow paced, isn't it?
Yes, and you've yet to see the front because there's a road parallel with us at the front. And if you go through there with our fish and chips a little later, we can sit on the seawall and look out to sea. It's really
yes.
pleasant.
That sounds
From
good.
here, you can also walk to Thorpe Ness and see the house in the clouds.
Right.
And a very, very good golf course, which I have played as well. And that's a nice place as well, Thorpe Ness.
Yes, that's brilliant.
Yep. So many people come here for a weekend, a Saturday or a Sunday, and have fish and chips and do the walk to Thorpe Ness, which is only a mile or two.
Brilliant.
Yep.
It's been great today. I really appreciate this. So we've done what we said we was going to do, even though I've been a bit slow and all that sort of stuff. But we've had a lovely day together.
We've had a grand day. We've had a grand day.
And you didn't mind me saying that I think that you're a dead ringer for John Higgins, the snooker player.
No, but I regret that I haven't got John Higgins' money. That's the only thing. But apart from that, Jim, that's fine.
But the temperament and the style of person, and he's a very calm and very interesting guy, and and I say it in the nicest possible way, just an ordinary sort of bloke who's like honest and friendly, and
What can I say, Jim? It's all true what you're saying, Jimmy.
No, but there is a definite. I'm just waiting for you to turn up with your cue and your chalk and all that stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Cheers.
So I'm just having a beer outside the White Hart here in Albury, and I've met Dubs. Is that right?
Yeah.
That's an interesting nickname.
Well, it's a nickname that all lifeboat crew have. They all have nicknames.
All right.
So we all nobody knows our real names, but we all have nicknames.
All right. That's
It's a bit strange, but that's the way it goes.
right. And we've just been having a chat only for a few minutes actually, and I was mentioning about I'm doing this walk and I'm raising money for the Cancer Research Fund, and you've had an experience of cancer.
Yes, I have.
Can you tell me about it?
It was throat cancer. It was misdiagnosed by my GP, but it's I've caught it in the bud. It's been a year and a half of slog, and it's worked out. It's worked out. I'm on the right side of the fence now.
Oh, that's excellent.
And it was totally advanced. Totally advanced, and it's a silent killer. Because there's prostrate, there's a sign. Bowels, brain, whatever, you get a sign. I didn't have nothing, no signs.
Right.
And they call it the sign, and I was more lucky than anything. And I ended up, I got taken to Ipswich Hospital, and boy, oh boy, I was that close.
Really?
And this locum doctor at Albury Surgery just picked up on it, and he said, go straight away now to Ipswich Hospital. He said, I'm going to make a phone call. And he said, I've got a colleague that will see me out.
Yes.
And from then on, my life changed completely.
Yes.
She said, take the weekend off, and she said, you're going to be full on. And I was for a year and a half.
Yes.
Totally. I had to have a bespoke mask stuck to my face for the radiotherapy because it was here.
Yes.
And I was never been so ill in my life through the treatment. But then I'm alive talking to you.
Yes. Well, I mean, I've got to say, if you hadn't have told me that, I would have never have known. If you understand what I mean, you look pretty good to me.
Yeah, I'm bouncing back.
It's been. How did you do that?
Well, I used to be 14 stone, and I'm glad I had 14 stone because I lost 3. I'm now 11.
Yes.
But that was a safety bag.
Yes.
And I just lost loads of weight. Otherwise, if it had been 11 stone what I am now, I'd have been 7 stone.
Yes.
So I bounced back.
Yes.
And I responded to treatment in a good way. Everything's gone. Here, emotionally, no smell, no taste, dry mouth. Here, I'm going to be rude now, no mojo.
Yes.
And all my toes are gone. Because it's the outer extremities, the radio things, and I've kept my nails, but I've not my toes. So and that's the treatment that you get, but it keeps you alive.
Yes.
So that's, and I've got to adjust. And the consultant said to me, he said, you'll never be the same person ever again.
Right.
And I said, oh God. And my wife, poor girl, she takes the strain.
Yes.
And she's a rock. And I said to her, I'll never be the same person that you married. But there we go. I'm alive.
Well, I could talk to you for a long time, and it's an absolute pleasure to sit here and just say hello. You're a very nice, honest, friendly guy, and it's been a real pleasure meeting you, and I wish you every success, and your wife.
And you. And
it's a little bit like me and my wife. It's a very difficult position
it is,
at the moment,
because
she needs time to heal,
You keep forgetting, I was a wounded dog for a year and a half. And my wife said, and she gave me this. She said, it's not just about you. She said, it's about me and my 3 daughters. She said, we're all suffering because of your cancer. And I went, I never looked at it like that.
No.
And I said, it's not about me. It does affect everybody.
Of course.
And I didn't realise, I honestly didn't realise that there's other people. I just felt sorry for myself.
Yes.
And now I realise that my wife and everybody else have been totally affected.
Yes.
And it's destroyed, well, not destroyed, but we have to look at it in another perspective.
Yes. Regroup kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
It's been an absolute pleasure meeting you, mate. It's been wonderful. And watch the vlog. I hope you enjoy it, and you get some. I think you will enjoy it. And I'm just an ordinary bloke doing just an ordinary walk around the UK.
That's me, and I'm an ordinary bloke.
Yeah, there's nothing flash about. I'm just from Hull, and I'm just loving every minute of meeting such wonderful people with a good story to tell me, including yours.
And it's good to talk.
Yeah, of course it is. That's
the main thing.
We're just going to go for some fish and chips now, Peter and I. And but I've been sat outside this pub now. We've been for about an hour, isn't it, Peter, or thereabouts?
At least an hour.
I've met Chris and Nikki, who are absolutely wonderful people. We've just been.
Starsky.
Sorry?
Starsky.
And Starsky, yes, there he is.
But no hutch.
It's been lovely talking to you.
It's been fantastic talking to you, Jim.
And you're in the business of knowing about cancer, and that's your job, really, isn't it?
Well, no, I know about pharmaceuticals, but I know about people, and what I do know is from what I've seen of you, Jim, you're a tower of strength, and to do that for your wife, Trish, after what she's been through, is quite extraordinary, and I wish you all the very best of luck in what you're doing. Just keep going, mate. Brilliant, well done.
Should be very proud. Best of luck, Trish.
It didn't actually start like this. It started as being a walk for my 70th birthday.
Oh,
did it? I tell you what, though.
But then when
turned into something else.
Yeah, it has definitely turned into something else. And I thought, well, there's a great big opportunity. So I've said I'm going to raise 20 grand.
Wow.
And I've still got Scotland to walk around yet.
Well,
and I'll be starting that at the end of July and walking up to John O'Groats. But meeting people like you are what drives me on, because you're absolutely wonderful people.
Brilliant.
You deserve it. And I tell you what, it would have been interesting to see you when you were 35 stone, but taking you as you are now, it's wonderful.
I hope your rabbit dies.
Sponsored by Slimmers World.
very, very nice to meet you.
And you, take care.
Bye now.
Lovely to meet you. Bye-bye.
You don't have a video, do you? It's only just... Look at the size of that haddock. Just look at the size of that haddock. That is like top draw quality, that is.
Absolutely sure.
I
don't know how I managed to get through this.
We're really going to pig out, aren't we?
Really good.
You were saying there's dogs and cats and everything like they're following us now. But it really is beautiful, isn't it? You can't beat a nice big piece of haddock.
No, you can't. Yes,
Just a sec. Peter, it's been a fantastic day. It's been a fantastic 2 days we've had together. I'll never forget this. It's brilliant. You've been absolutely wonderful. Thank you for all the driving and stuff, and we've just had a really great day again. It's been fantastic, and I hope you have a really good time when you go up to Scarborough.
How did you make that noise, Jim? You never moved your lips, do you know?
I know, I do. I know. Full of tricks, aren't they? That's it. That's it, turn it off. But thanks, mate.
No, that's very good, Jim. Really enjoyed it.
Thanks very much indeed, and any time you want to come with me, you'd love you to come again. I'd love to see you again.
Great stuff.
It's been wonderful.
Enjoyed it.
Thanks very much, mate.
Cheers now.
Bye now.